Hello and welcome to another episode of Agri Art. In this episode we'll cover forest and tree symbolism in folklore. This research paper is by Dr. J. Cruz. Let's begin. In ancient history, both in terms of natural history and cultural history, the former perhaps having an effect on the latter. Historically, trees were utilized for fruit, nuts, and shelter through the use of lumber. As a consequence, trees played a large part in many folklores, religions, and systems of symbology. Dr. Harrison in 1992 suggested that trees and their symbolism was a consequence of primitive peoples climbing higher to look for signs or signals from the divine. A subset of this group may have clear-cut forests in order to improve access to the sky as well. This became codified in Greek culture and the Roman Empire, which had a resurgence during the Renaissance era. On a historical note, trees have had a historical vision of being a source of rebirth and renewal due to their continued regrowth from forest fires through seeds. As a result, some cultures, specifically old pagan cultures, were believed to be conduits between humans and the divine, and divine messages from the gods themselves could be obtained through reading the signs found on trees. Even in modern religions, trees still play a major role within human history. The tree species used by Buddha to receive enlightenment, and the tree species used for crucifixion in terms of the sacrifice of Jesus, are both still sanctified both in Buddhist and Christian folklore, respectively. In the Shinto region of Japan, the tree known as Sakaki or Clerera japonica is considered sacred, with magical Sakaki trees being the source of different restoration and savior mythologies regarding the Shinto religion, and is considered to be the means to communicate with the sun god Amaterasu of the Shinto religion. Within the Aboriginals of Australia, specifically in Queensland, several forests such as the Horsh that are considered holy places where the gods dwell. In Lebanon, there's a forest of cedars called Horsh Ars El Rab, which was said to be planted by God himself. The forests of Mount Kenya in Kenya are held as holy by its inhabitants, even to this day. In the Philippines, there's a grove within the Luzon region that priests only use for ceremonial purposes. In Greek mythology, women are saved from rapists by being turned into trees. The woman Daphne was saved from Apollo by being turned into a laurel tree, and several lesser spiritual entities such as nymphs were associated with different trees such as white poplar and linden trees. In the Bible, trees are often compared with women as well. Song of Songs. In another Greek myth, a couple, Bacchus and Philemon, were very poor but offered hospitality to two of the Greek gods, who were disguised as beggars. As a reward, they are showered with riches, and in the afterlife they will be continually reborn as a linden and oak, growing from the same root to each other forever. Trees were also used as symbolic ways of explaining how yoga works in the Hindu system of meditation. In Australian Aboriginal culture, it's believed that whenever a person dies, their soul goes into a tree until they're ready to be reborn within another female. Large resistant trees are identified with courage, and many examples are found in both Quranic and biblical texts. In South Africa, there's a group called the Order of Baobab. The baobab is a type of tree that is very tall, durable, and usable for various purposes. This order is a military group designated only for veterans of high caliber. And in most African societies, the baobab is used in many warrior rituals. We'll conclude by talking about the tree of life or world tree in various faiths, both extant and extinct. In Egyptian mythology, it is said that a magical form of the sycamore fig was used to feed the blessed selected by the Egyptian gods, and that heaven, controlled by the sun god Ra, was decorated with sycamore figs. The tree is also referenced as an avatar of the goddesses Nut, Isis, and Hathor, who used the fruit to allow for safe passage into the afterlife. In most faiths, there's a central tree that connects the divine to the mundane. This is a common feature of most ancient faiths, and at least some modern faiths. In the more modern faith of Kabbalah, an esoteric religious sect of Judaism, the Tree of Life had 10 branches, representing 10 attributes that a person must possess in order to enter heaven. The Tree of Life was also symbolized within the Garden of Eden in the book of Genesis, a commonality between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Cosmic tree myths are also found in ancient Haitian, Finnish, Lithuanian, Hungarian, Indian, Chinese, Japanese, and Siberian folk religions of the ancient times. Hindus in particular believe that the entire universe is a divine tree growing from a single seed sown in space. The Greeks, Persians, Chaldeans, and Japanese had legends describing the entire world rotating around a tree. In Norse mythology, there's a tree called Yggdrasil, a tree that's linked to and provides sustenance for the entire world. All the afterlives are said to be fueled by this tree, as well as the immortality of the gods. And once the tree is destroyed in Ragnarok, the afterlives will cease to be, and the final battle will begin. There seems to be a commonality between trees and human religions and faiths. I speculate that this might be due to the fact that trees were oftentimes a great source of sustenance for nomadic peoples and later on farming populations, even prior to the domestication of fruit trees. After all, we use trees for so much: fruit, nuts, wood, and especially in earlier times, weaponry, and in even earlier times, fire. It would make sense that something of such great utility would become mythologized in one way or another during these early ages of mythology prior to the Enlightenment. And that about covers everything. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you really enjoyed it and think you can donate, you can do so at Buy Me a Coffee, link in the description below. Thank you for watching.